Hello and welcome to Unit three's video discussion. So the designated reading I had for this week came from the EDUCAUSE Horizon Report, the Data Analytics 2022 edition. And the section I read specifically was about the trends. So the section starts off explaining the exploration of higher education in the realm of data analytics. And the way that they talk about this approach includes the way that they collect data, understand the data, and how to utilize the data. So the different trends that they talked about were social trends, technological trends, economic trends, environmental trends, and political trends. And the section that I found the most interesting was the social trends aspect. So, in higher education, they stated that the data shows a reflection of who we are as people, living in particular social and cultural contexts. And so a data-driven decision that may work for one group of people may not be so generalizable to another group of people. And that's something that's very important, because if you do something like that, it can make or break an organization. As an IO student, data is something that we will be working with on a regular basis. And so overall, in this section for the social trends, I love seeing how the concepts and principles that I learned in class are being found in this report. But yeah, that's my part.
Okay, thanks, Ricky. Hi, I'm Larissa, and I did the Horizon report. It was the 2022 on hybrid learning, and it started off by giving an overview of the hybrid models and how they're kind of becoming our new normal, whether that's in school, work, or just life in general for talking to family and friends. It also outlined some of the goals that we have for hybrid learning. And one of the ones for institutions that stood out for me was that the goal is to have learning readily available and on demand. And also collaboration with other institutions or organizations. Um, the goal is to make that also just to have easier access to that, because when things are online, it's easier to collaborate and to actually get with those other organizations, even if they're out of state or even out of the country. um, some of the actions that were stated in order to arrive at those goals were also pretty interesting, and one of the ones that I liked was that one of the actions was to support placing the burden of cost on institutions and not students, which of course sounds great to us. And then they did also have a section on planning for the future. And kind of basically the overview of the plan was to get a list of stakeholders that are willing to help with this plan, and then narrow down that list and start learning from some of them to begin to take action. So I think that it was a pretty good overview of hybrid learning, and I enjoyed it.
Thanks, Larissa. My name is Mercedes, and I read the EDUCAUSE 22 Teaching and Learning, which also focused on the different hybrid learning models. Um, the main area that I looked at was the social trends, and I discussed online learning, hybrid learning, and skills-based learning, and how the work environment shifted to remote working over the last years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It talked about how this increased the accessibility for learning for a lot more people, as it freed up time from schedules due to commuting. It also allowed, I'm sorry, lost my place. It allowed institution and companies to increase their ability to train personnel with remote learning and reduce their cost on their end, kind of similar what Larissa was talking about. And it also allowed a new era where you can access skill-based learning or just like interest through various courses or online platforms that was non-traditional. And it really has shifted the employer, because a lot of employers have removed their 4-year degree requirements for their jobs positions, which I think is a great shift. And they're actually just focusing on the skill set requirement and the competencies that they can look at to be successful at that job, rather than requiring all these degrees and formal training that might not even be applicable to where they're applying. And then the last piece that I thought was interesting was the increase of flexible working arrangements and how this has allowed more individuals to balance their lives between family, being healthy, and their work life, and not just devoting all their time to their work.
Awesome. Thank you, Mercedes. So I also went over the same article, and honestly, the parts that I really just enjoyed reading were the benefits and the drawbacks to actually using the hybrid and remote forms of learning. I only know the benefits because I've had a hybrid and remote uh, choice of learning, and I mostly saw the benefits. But after reading this article, I can see that there are some drawbacks to it, which are like you're cut off from other people, but also at the same time you can access them and talk to them at the click of a button. So there's lots of different aspects to this, looking at both sides, and I also just really liked the topic of the Great Resignation that was highlighted within the article, because and as an IO perspective, I think it's important to look at why there was a Great Recession. I mean resignation, and basically how hybrid and remote working basically played a part of that, the technologies behind that. And so I think that it was just a really good read for me because I got to apply my industrial organizational psychology mind to it, and I just had a good time reading about the things that actually affect me and affect other students like me. But yeah, that's basically it. Thanks for watching our Zoom video, and yeah, have a good day.